Hey everyone, Mr. Happy here. For years, I've explored most facets of Final Fantasy XIV's content to truly take in all the options I have within the game. Whether it was Eureka, Bozia, Deep Dungeon, treasure maps, heck, I was even amongst those pioneering A Realm Reborn sightseeing log when it first released. Man, I'm old. I've done my squadrons, island sanctuary, heck, even a 3-month adventure into ocean fishing, triple triad, the hunt, and this expansion. Finally decided to actually care about crafting and gathering a little bit with cosmic exploration. Yeah, I made all the tools, and one day I will get that reskinned mount. I've seen a lot of what the game has to offer, but one piece of content I swore I'd avoid at all costs. However, in the last week, the dam finally broke, and under the influence of my viewers, my girlfriend, and my inner desire to just collect things, I finally caved and gave into something I've been dreading for years. Big fishing. Before we get started, the sponsor of this video is Magic Spoon. They make high-protein cereal, snack bars, and granola, and we've been working with them for quite some time. It all tastes great, and honestly, it helps me when my snackometer is going off. And yeah, I get a little snacky. I've been eating their products for years now, and I get excited every time a new box pops up. This latest one came packed with some delicious treat bars and some scrumptious granola. I'm always glad to have a high-protein option around, whether it be right after I get back from the gym, or honestly, sometimes I just want to avoid traditional snacks. If you'd like to try Magic Spoon while also supporting the channel, then click the link below to get some today. Build your own custom box of products with tons of available flavors to match your daily needs. Best of all, use my link and discount code Mr. Happy to get $5 off of your box. You can also buy it at your local grocery store, even on Amazon if you prefer. And if you don't like it, Magic Spoon has a 100% happiness guarantee. Let them know and they'll refund you, no questions asked. So click the link below or scan the QR code on the screen and use code Mr. Happy to get $5 off, or go to magicspoon.com/Mr. Happy to save $5 on your order. It even works in Canada and the UK. Thanks again to Magic Spoon for sponsoring, and now back to the video. If you've never heard of it, big fishing probably just sounds like a really silly thing. I mean, to many, myself included at one point, it just sounds like just go to the fishing hole and catch the fish. Maybe you gotta wait till a certain time, easy game, made for babies, move on, why waste my time? What I found instead was a chasm of fishing intricacies uncovered through years of dedicated players as their sanity slowly unraveled into the depth of the sea, or some tiny pond somewhere. So what is big fishing and how does it work? Well, big fishing was a feature released back in patch 2.2. The principle was fairly simple. Fishing holes around the world were populated with new, rare fish that could mostly only be obtained under specific conditions. That could be the weather, a certain kind of day, a certain kind of bait, or just getting a certain fish beforehand. Some fish were rarer, some fish were more slippery and would actually get off the line, and some just didn't spawn as often. The big thing prevalent with this was that there was limited information available on all of these big fish. Dedicated players would open discussions about the things that they tried and gather information to come to a firm conclusion about the best ways to obtain each fish. There was and still is a rather dedicated community of people who uncover this information and present that information to aspiring fishers basically every single major patch. It's not too unlike the hunt communities that come together to discover S-rank spawn conditions when a new expansion comes out, but this happens more frequently and goes so much deeper. So without much of an idea of what I was really getting into, I started big fishing about a week ago as of the recording of this video, with well over 100 big fish to my name already, being all but finished with A Realm Reborn and a good chunk through Heavensward's big fish. I've also begun scouting out some of the rarer fish, and I found that the level of complexity has become increasingly apparent, from how to even attempt to obtain the fish in the first place to the best strategy to employ for each. Let me give you an example. Warden of the Seven Hues is a big fish out in Yanjia. In its fishing area, there are 2 fish that are always there, no matter the time of day, no matter the weather, a blue fish and a yellow fish. However, from midnight to 4 a.m. Eorzean, there's a violet fish, and from 4 a.m. to 8 a.m. Eorzean, a red fish. These can both be mooched, meaning you use them as bait for bigger fish when you catch them, into either a white fish or an indigo or firelight fish, depending on whether it's violet or red. In addition to that, there is a green fish that only comes out when the weather goes from fair skies to fair skies again or clear skies in the next weather window. Now, in order to have a chance at catching Warden of the Seven Hues, you need to catch 3 indigo fish, 3 firelight fish, and 5 green fish. So you need to wrestle up as many indigo attempts as possible, as many firelight attempts as possible, and also ensure that the green fish is even available before you can even meet all the conditions for Warden of the Seven Hues to be caught. Strategies employed for this can vary greatly. I opted to use the fisheye skill, a skill that lets you ignore the time conditions for many fish, and I actually grabbed violet and red fish ahead of time and then saved them for when their windows were made available. I then used them during their respective mooch windows, triple hooked the indigo and firelight fish, very lucky that I didn't get a white fish mind you, then simply waited for the green to be available. Caught 5 of them and then began to fish for Warden of the Seven Hues. Now on top of all of that, this process probably took me about 40 minutes. You only get 3 minutes for this particular fish under what's called an intuition window to try to catch Warden after doing all that. And if you do fail or something bad happens, you'll have to begin the whole process over when the next time a green fish is actually available. Fortunately, Warden is actually not too uncommon, so it's likely to catch him, and thus I did catch him in the singular window that I opened it. Employing a fully optimal strategy can take even longer because you would then actually fish up 4 of the green fish, then you would actually identical cast 1, wait until the green fish was no longer available, and then right before the green fish no longer becomes available, fish up a 5th one, and then that way you've eliminated the green fish, red fish, violet fish, and you only have Warden and the other 2 fish. You can then slap a blue or a yellow fish to eliminate it from the pool, and now you're only rolling between 2 fish. Fortunately, he's not that uncommon. I didn't do all that. I wasn't waiting another 23 minutes for the green window to end, and so like I said, I got him in 1 window. Now, you want to know what's crazy about all that? That's a lot of work. A, someone had to figure all that out. B, the team actually thought of it, which is kind of impressive. And C, would you believe if I told you that's actually considered one of the easier ones? A lot of people say it's a tedious fish, but it's actually considered one of the much, much easier fish to obtain across the various expansions. Some fish give you 90 seconds to catch them and seldom have their conditions met. One fish wasn't available at some point for 33 days. And even if a fish is available, it could be at an ungodly hour. So there's straight up fish that are called calendar fish, where if you're actually attempting to get the achievement seriously, you're gonna wanna wake up. And I've already done that for one and failed to get it. Don't like you, Salad, and I have a feeling we're gonna have a very long and tedious relationship throughout all this time. And keep in mind, I'm leaving out so many details. I mean, there have just been so many fish where I've had to employ so many different strategies going into the window, whether it's using patience in order to get a lot of mooched fish ahead of time, or which fish I'm going to slap to eliminate to make my odds as good as possible. How I actually manage my GP during the time. High cordials are disappearing like they're Skittles at this point. And it's like every different fishing hole, I'm playing a brand new game. After I got past the easy fish, which were all just kind of like show up at this time, maybe hope there's weather, and then just kind of hope there's the fish. Some fish I'll catch 7 to 10 times, they'll slip every time. Some fish I'll catch in 1 try, and everyone has a different experience with it. You're going to have your fish that everyone said was hard, and you get it super easy. For me, Stethecanthus was actually a pretty good one. NC Butterfly, caught both of those in the same day, 1 window, and done. And then some people are going to have their white whales, which could literally be a whale like the legendary fish from Endwalker. And mind you, at the end of Dawn Trail, there will be more legendary fish that people have to figure out. Could take a really long time to obtain. And yeah, there's a lot that goes into this. I was ill prepared. I was like, oh yeah, I'll just get whatever. I'll just go there and fish. And now I'm deep and I don't know how to stop. And I'm a shiny hunter in Pokemon. I've got like 300-400 shinies, and this is basically like shiny hunting with a little bit of skill involved, I suppose, just to know how to use my fishing skills. Now, I've actually had a great time doing this despite my initial trepidation. In the midst of the pain knowing I'm probably going to struggle for this for months on end to complete the list, I've also met some great people who have worked hard on incredible resources and are often glad to assist new challengers. People who are simultaneously working on their own fish, talking about the fish that I haven't caught yet, letting me know what are some of the optimal strategies, and having some discussions about things people could do, how the certain skills interact with the different fish at the different fishing holes. Many people simultaneously work on these things, and if you're on a more populated server, don't be surprised if you make a few friends going to some of the rarer fishing holes, and everyone's going to be sharing either their excitement, their success, or their pain of something getting away for the 50th time. Now, in terms of the classic MMO feel, big fishing actually does achieve something quite nice. Many of my earlier MMO experiences, I would rarely classify the content as the main reason I played. I didn't really think any of it was revolutionary or mind-boggling, and keep in mind, I was a hardcore Final Fantasy XI player, and I have more stories that are strewn with, didn't get my Black Mage hat for 7 years, I have more of those type stories than I do about, oh, this one fight was really amazing. It's just that dominates that experience. But there is something to those stories about shared experiences. Everyone's is different, and there's a bonding and social experience to be had when it comes to tackling difficult challenges or long grinds. You meet new people and make new friends along the way, and because the journey is longer, you have more chances to do so and build bonds with those same people should you desire it. So what's the point of this, right? I told you what big fishing is. I told you what my experience is. I even gave you some examples, and now I'm going off about social experiences and MMOs. Well, am I telling you to start big fishing? No, I don't think I am. You could approach it casually if it interests you, or maybe if it just sounds like the kind of thing that you would do in another game, like if you're a shiny hunter like I am, you might be kind of tempted to do it, but I'm not really trying to sell you on the content itself. What I am trying to say is that the idea behind shared experiences is something that big fishing captures, and it's something that's kept other pieces of content and communities alive and thriving for years. Obviously, it still ebbs and flows in terms of popularity. That's true of any of the individual niches within Final Fantasy XIV. And there's no expectation that big fishing is your saving grace if you're currently not enjoying your Final Fantasy XIV experience. It also doesn't undo the need for valid criticism in a time where discontent in the community is high. We actively need that, and it shouldn't be shut down for any particular reason. Sometimes it could be worded better, but we shouldn't shut it down entirely. What big fishing does do is highlight something people are often missing in Final Fantasy XIV, and those reeling from another patch cycle of MSQ, Alliance Raid Trial Dungeon, of that format, probably need more of this kind of sense, a sense of connection with aspects of the game that they love. I think that Square should look to capture this in more ways without alienating players who do enjoy those safer content patch cycles. I do think they want that. I think they were hoping to achieve that in Dawn Trail. They were thinking people going to Cosmic Exploration would have that same experience. People going to the new exploration zones would have that same experience, and they weren't entirely wrong. However, the way that they were executed upon, to their own admission, was not up to par, and so they couldn't actually capture this for as long a period of time or as frequent for updates. Nor was it nearly as deep for everyone to figure out. Yeah, sure, the crafting recipes in Cosmic Exploration have their own thing, and the initial discovery process of the exploration zone was okay. But these long-form contents where people can actually form communities, both of those didn't achieve that. Not in the same way that content has in the past, like with Eureka and Bozia. Yes, this has kind of been cannibalized. The new exploration zone was cannibalized by those communities. In a sense, they've just kind of all become one. But even then, it's not content that's fostering that. You still think more of Eureka, more of Bozia, and those experiences and how they affected that kind of shared bonding experience more than you think of the new thing. So I think they should kind of almost work backwards from this. Look at why big fishing or any individual part of the community can stay alive in the first place. Why can these communities actually build things, and what actually leads to that necessity for people to onboard people, to help people, to build interest in them? And a lot of that is actually the player discovery process. And I think we need more of that. A lot of people talk about player agency, and they think of it in gameplay terms. But player agency is something that can be present in a lot of facets of your game. They don't all have to be mind-boggling or game-changing in a sense. They simply have to be there. And I think this is an example of a piece of content that has clearly worked so long that they keep updating it. They keep deciding these weird conditions for these fish to be caught. They keep populating the game with more and more of them, and they see it's worth their time. Now, mind you, they are effectively making just a bunch of new fish, and realistically, that's not the same as building out a brand new piece of content. But it had to start somewhere. And so don't be surprised if we see something that starts small and has to build over time into what big fishing is now. I just don't think we've seen that yet in Dawn Trail. So we'll hopefully see it at some point here, if not in 8.0, but I know that the people who have a lot of criticisms right now would prefer sooner rather than later. And quite frankly, even while my criticisms are a little bit more leveled, I would too. So I'm going to enjoy my big fishing for the time being. I'll still take some time to do other stuff. Still be covering 14 mobile. Still be working on some of my other Final Fantasy videos. I've got platinum projects, and heck, there's some other things I want to do with my time over the next several months. But I've got this, and I'm really glad I was introduced to it after so much resistance over the years. I'm really grateful for it. And with that, that's going to be a wrap for my video. If you've done big fishing, share some of your horror stories in the comments section of the video below. If you're someone who has never done it before and is wondering about it, go ahead and comment as well. And if you're someone who hates it, I guess comment too. I can't stop you from doing it. I mean, go right ahead, have your opinion. But it is what it is. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Until then, take care.